every single one of us. From the highest of the high to the lowest of the low, we all have stories. Exploring the world for the greatest stories of all time.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Aron O'Dowd Show.
The Aron O'Dowd Show. Our soul is the screen upon which we project our dreams. What's your story?
Hello to all, and hope you're having a magnificent morning, noon, and afternoon. I seem a bit nasally today, so if you hear that, don't worry. It's the old winter flu's coming by again, and it's time of that year where it's party hard and sleep well. So, we network and we meet some amazing people on the way through our networking. And today we're meeting a woman's story who's a testament to the power of resilience, adaptability, and the human soul. Joy Harris is a successful CEO, and she understands what it's like to build businesses, launch 7 companies. My God, 7 companies. And she's had an experience that has showed her and created a purpose for her. Hello, welcome to the show, Joy. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me, Aron. It's so good to see you again. I love that I got to connect with you through the Forbes group, and I am so honored to be on your show today. So thank you.
Tell us about what inspires you to go from secretary to successful CEO.
I think, when it first happened, my first company 24 years ago, it wasn't like I sat down one day and I had a goal that I was going to start a business and this is what it was going to look like and how I was going to plan it and map it all out. It really came down to I had lunch with an old colleague of mine, and she was working in an industry where they needed a maintenance company. And I said, hey, we can do that, because my ex-husband was a carpenter. And that's pretty much how we started the first business, was because there was a need and we provided a solution. And that became my reason for starting business, was I was providing a solution.
And what was the solution you're trying to overcome?
I was overcoming that they didn't have a resource for getting maintenance work done in their homeowners associations. So I created a business that would go into homeowners associations and make all the repairs.
Wow, the goddamn homeowner association. You can't do this, can't do that, but it seems like you have a solution.
Exactly. The ones that tell you what you can't do. We went in to just do the maintenance part.
Wow, 24 years of business, that's a long time. You probably have experiences and challenges and success in the way.
Just a few. Where do you want to start with?
What was the biggest challenge you faced?
Well, the biggest challenge I faced was after I had started that maintenance company. I was also still working a job, and I became pregnant with my second child. And I subsequently lost that pregnancy and had to go through delivering my baby boy that I would never hear cry or talk or walk, and had to figure out what was next. How do I navigate this loss while I'm running a business, being a mom, being a wife, trying to figure out life?
How did that feel to experience that? Because that's a huge loss for
it was. I was really mad at first at God. Like, how did you, why did you take my baby? And then the next day I thought to myself, there's something I need to do with this, because everything happens for a reason in our lives, whether it's good or bad. Sometimes when we can look at the things that we look at as, quote, bad, and we can turn them into something good, I think that's a win. And so it took me 20 years, almost 21 years, to figure out what I was supposed to do. Was I wrote a book about my experience, and I included chapters from my family members who also experienced that loss. So other people going through a loss like that would have a resource and not feel alone, because I felt alone at the time. Like, I knew I wasn't really the only one that ever had gone through this, but at that time, that's how it felt. And so creating this book with a journal to make it for other people felt like a really good gift, and a way to honor him and keep him, give him a legacy for not even being here.
What did it teach you?
It taught me that I can still live life and be happy even when there's sad things that happen.
Wow. And 21 years of coming through must have given you some aha moments on the way.
Oh, sure did. Well, one of them was that sometimes there's humor in sad things. And when we can laugh about stuff, it kind of helps us get over ourselves a little bit. I know I could have stayed in a very depressed state for a long time. Part of me wanted to curl up in a ball and die. But the other part of me knew I had to get out of bed every day because I still had another child to take care of. And when her goldfish died, what do you do with goldfish when they die? Most people flush them down the toilet, right?
Yeah.
So as we're in there flushing the goldfish down the toilet, she looks at me and says, "Is that what you did with my brother?" And how can you not laugh at that? I mean, because that's funny, and that's, how a child perceives the world. We forget how they don't miss out on anything. They're always watching and observing us, so we have to make sure we're very careful of our actions and our words because they're not missing them.
As a mom, do you miss him?
Oh, yeah, every day. But every day, I'm also blessed knowing that he's still part of my life and that his book is out there and his story for other people to share.
And what does his story inspire others by?
I feel like it inspires other people because they're not the only ones going through a loss. And loss comes in all sorts of different forms. We have loss of people, we have loss of clients in our businesses, we have loss of money. There's so many different ways we have loss and experience it. And when you can go, I felt like if I knew how to go through that experience and feel my way through it, all the stuff, the pain, the anger, the frustration, all the things that you experience with loss, then I knew I could thrive. I could get on the other side. I could do something positive and keep going.
Survive, thrive, and succeed is something we see in the world. How did you get from those three elements in your life?
Some of it was survival, honestly. I felt like I had to just keep going. I didn't feel like I had a choice in a way, right? I had to still be a mom. I still had to run my business. I had to figure out what I was going to do about my job that I had. I had to make a lot of hard decisions in a short period of time. And because I was able to do those, I think it gave me, like you said, a resilience that I could pretty much do anything, right? We don't give ourselves credit for what we can actually do as human beings. And I think you're a living proof of that. I'm always amazed by you, besides the fact you're an amazing dancer, that you also do your marathons. Like, I can't even imagine how that must be for you to navigate. And your resilience inspires other people. I'm inspired. I'm not going to do the marathon part, but I'm inspired by the fact that you do them. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Resilience is a word we throw a lot, but what is your internal definition of it?
My internal definition of resilience would be not letting anything get the best of you and knowing that God has a purpose for you and that everything you're doing and going through is for your betterment. His loss slowed my life down, so I paid attention to what was important. I don't think I was living my life. I think I was existing in my life.
What do you think God's mission is for you?
My mission is to make sure that I'm helping others make sure that they can see how much success they have within themselves in all areas of their lives.
And when we hear success, what does that mean for you?
For me, success is I'm really already there. I'm a good mom. I have 2 successful kids. They're happy. I'm happy. I have a life that I love living and getting up for every single day. To me, that's success.
You've built and sold companies, and you've helped leaders, and you've transformed businesses. What fueled you to do that?
What fueled me? I would say it's kind of part of who I am. I instinctively have this cool gift that when I'm having conversations with people, I hear things that they don't even see inside themselves or their business. And when I can bring that out to them and watch that aha moment, I call it the light bulb moment. And why a light bulb is my, what do you call it? My business, right? Is because I feel like I just gave them a little gift of something that they didn't even know they had. When I was talking to a guy yesterday, and it wasn't even a client, we're just having a conversation, and he was debating about going from his independent coaching business back into corporate. I said, why would you want to do that and give up the freedom you have in your life when you work for yourself? I said, why not take that into those businesses and sell it to them as an outside source where you can then still do what you're doing, still work in different companies, but not be attached to just one. And he just was like, why didn't I think of that? Right? So being able to give people those little light bulb moments, or somebody, and I've also been told mic drop moments, that lights me up.
It seems like you're the caddy of the business world. You know, you see them golfing, like tweak here, tweak there, swing there. Here's your iron. Here's your driver. Come here. You know.
Yeah, that's a really great analogy. It totally is, because there's different sayings. One of them is, you can't read the label when you're inside the pickle jar. Well, I can see the pickle jar in a different way. I can see all the ingredients. I can see, how the directions are to eat the pickle. So it's really fun to make sure that we're sharing that with people and bringing the best out of them.
If I came to you today and I said, this is my business is, and I'm looking to do A, B, and C, how do you get to see their pickle jar to make them go where they need to go?
I do it started with conversation, and then one of my favorite things to do is do a little dive into their business and do some research and look at their website, look at if they have a program, looking at their program and seeing what other things they could do.
Wow. If we were to dial it back a bit, you started as a secretary, now you're a successful CEO, visionary, all these incredible things, but is there something else you inspire to be?
Inspire to be? That's a good question that I hadn't thought of. I inspire to always be the best me that I can be, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's in my business, in my personal life. I always want to show up and be a good human being and be kind to other people. I love to volunteer. I love to do things that can help other people without enabling them. I used to be an enabler, and I realized I don't want to enable people, but I want to make people be their best selves.
What do you mean by being an enabler?
Sometimes you can overhelp people where you're really not helping them, you're actually hurting them. Sometimes it's good for people to fail or to fall so that they can then pick themselves up. If somebody had carried me through my loss, I don't know that I would have come out it the same way as I did, rather than going through it and experiencing it and hurting. We don't always want to be people that hurt, because obviously it hurts and things like that are sad. But because I was able to, as I said, feel my way through the loss and deal with it and talk about it with family and friends who allowed me to talk about him, I was able to navigate that with probably the best of me at the worst time in my life. I was able to come out of that and use that experience of having a loss and going through it in my business. I'm able to use it with other people that have had losses and share the story, right? When we share our stories of our resilience and things that have happened, it just gives somebody else a little bit of a light bulb moment, and to them say, if she can do it, I can do it. So if I'm doing something for somebody, instead of maybe teaching them how to do it, it really doesn't help them, because then they get used to somebody helping them all the time instead of doing it for themselves.
I see. And living in the hurt, what does that look like for you when you were experiencing that pain?
Yeah, when I was living in the hurt, it was really hard to get out of bed every day, right? I was in a place of some depression and super sadness, because your brain and your heart don't always see the things eye to eye. Part of me was blaming myself, questioning, what did I do? How did this happen? And at the end of the day, sometimes crap just happens and we can't control it. We can't change it. And sometimes we can't prevent it. There was nothing I could have done to stop him from passing inside of my womb. But what I knew I could do with it is not let it be in vain and for no reason. And so creating and writing this book and sharing this journey with other people gives them a little bit of hope that they're not alone and that they can navigate something like this themselves.
What was that pinnacle moment of where you climbed out of the hurt to be the success again?
I couldn't hear you, Aron.
What was the pinnacle point of getting out of the hurt into success?
I would say about 2 weeks after, and I had been home, I think just watching my 4-year-old daughter be resilient and navigate this so much differently. And I thought, she knows and understands what happened, but she's not letting it consume her life, and she's still going out and living her best life. So she was really an inspiration for me to be like, well, if she can do that, I can do that. So having my 4-year-old be happy in not staying stuck in the sadness, that was a pivotal moment for me.
Being stuck in the sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that to us. What does that mean?
I think some people get so stuck in the sadness of things when they lose, whether it's a spouse or a child or their homes or other things that they felt were important in their lives, that they stop looking at the good, that there's good stuff still happening. And if you stay in that sad, then you're going to miss out on a lot of really good stuff. Had I stayed in the sad, I would have missed out on all the stuff I'm doing now. I don't know that I would even be where I'm at really right now had it not been for his loss. Like I said, I was just in a place where I was existing and living. I was getting up every day, taking my daughter to daycare, going to work, going to pick her up, come home, make dinner, put her to bed. Same cycle every single day. And what it did is made me evaluate my life. When I sat down and figured out how much money I was actually making, that was a part-time job. So me working a full-time job, paying for daycare and making this crazy life for myself was insane. And I had never stopped to say, how much am I really bringing home? And is it worth me not being able to stay home and be a mom? So this gave me the ability to stay home, be a mom, raise my daughter, grow my business. And it ended up growing it into several businesses over the past 24 years.
Tell us about what it's like to be a mama poor. I'm making up a word here. A mom and an entrepreneur at the same time.
Yeah. You know, being a mom is the best and hardest job there is. I wouldn't trade it for the world because it's been amazing to watch my kids grow into the amazing young adults that they are and their successes in their own ways. It was hard being a mom who was working and raising kids because along the way, it's not hard, but you kind of lose yourself a little bit. So as they grow up, you have to stop and say, oh, where did I go? And make sure you take care of yourself, because it's real easy to get consumed by being a mompreneur and taking and doing all the stuff for your kids and your businesses. So if you're a mom out there and you're a working mom, you're doing a double hard job, but make sure you take care of you along the way.
Any secrets to share with the audience about being both roles?
Yes, I would say don't feel guilty when you do something for yourself. It's okay to leave them with your spouse or a babysitter and go out and do something for yourself, whether it's getting a massage, going out with your friends, going to dinner. Just get out so that you're not stuck in the same loop, because I feel like I got stuck in the same loop, and that's why I felt like I was existing and not living. Did I lose you?
No, I can still hear you. So it's interesting how we're living in an existence of routine instead of living. What was the transition for you to go from routine living to inspired living?
I think that it was that I had to really see that it was okay to leave the house because I worked from home for a long time, and that it was healthy for me to get out and go do things for myself. And it's true. a happy mom, a happy wife is a happy life. So when we can be happy, others are happy around us. And I think that's true in general. When you're a happy person, people around you get happy just because they're your energy. Everything is energy and moving. So when you can be happy around other people, then you're going to help them be happier.
And that's the elements and secrets of a really good leader is being happy at home and happy at work. And but where did you find that leadership in you?
I think it's just part of who I am. My name's Joy, so there's a little bit of pressure there that I have to live up to. But I've always been a pretty happy-go-lucky person, and I really do enjoy people. I love talking to people and being around them and hearing their stories and listening to what their journeys are, because like you say, everybody has a story. And so when we can just take some time to listen to somebody else, it just makes me feel good that I've heard what their story is and their journey. And you can learn so much from other people.
Learning from other people is the cool part, because you're a people person helping people, and it's like, oh wow, I learned this, learned that, and you're telling the kids and the husband at home, guess what I did today? That must feel cool.
Yeah, it is. And my girls both are a little bit entrepreneurial. My youngest she has a full-time job, but she also has 2 side businesses that she started. So it's fun to see how you can be that role model for your kids and not let them be afraid at any age of starting a business. I think a lot of parents, including myself, I was very entrepreneurial when I was younger. I always had an idea for a business, but I didn't have anybody saying, yes, go do it, because I was a kid. And in our generation, kids didn't have businesses other than maybe a lemonade stand. And so when my daughter was 10 and she wanted to start a business with her dog, at first I caught myself saying, oh, you're only 10. And then I was like, Joy, you stop that. Let's encourage her. Okay. So I had to flip the script in my brain and start to tell her, do we want a website? What do you want your business to be named? I did everything I did with her as I would do with a client and help her walk through setting up a business. So watching her now have a couple businesses, it's just actually, it's fun and it's very enlightening to know that I helped her along that journey to be her best self.
Wow, that's cool. The mama pure is helping the kid pure, and it's all going from the tree to the growth.
Oh yeah, it is fun.
What was your very first business?
My very first business was actually a condo vacation rental company. I didn't do much with that because at the time I was not sure what I was doing, and I didn't know about mentoring and hiring coaches and doing all the things to help me get my business off the ground. It sounded good at the time, but it wasn't really my own idea or my own business until Cedar Grove Maintenance, my construction company, came into light in 2000, because that was all me and mine and making it grow with a great team, because you can't really always do it by yourself. That's the one thing I think that people don't do well, is they think they have to do it alone. And it's better when you have a business partner, a coach, a mentor, some sort of support system to help you navigate some of the things that happen in a business that you may or may not know about.
So I guess you weren't lemonade stands or Girl Scouts. That was your first business.
My lemonade stand, we did that. And we sold blackberries at the end of our street.
Wow. That's a new one. Instead of lemonade, it's blackberries.
Yep.
And did that teach you anything about the entrepreneurial skills when you're selling your blackberries?
Well, sure. You had to be patient, because just because you set up a stand and put some berries out there, that everybody wasn't going to come rush into your stand and buy them. Sometimes it would take an hour to sell out, and sometimes it would take 4 hours to sell out. So you had to learn how to be patient, and that everything doesn't come instantly just because you set it up.
Wow, you wouldn't think that,
No, you wouldn't. Had to wait for the traffic to come, because at that time, we didn't have, internet, so we couldn't just put out there, hey, come and see us on this such and such a day at such and such a time. You just put up the stand with a sign and waited for people to come to you.
Joy, you've probably gone through the traditional business to the internet business. What has it taught you as an individual?
Wow, that the internet made things a whole lot easier. You can get to people faster because of the internet. And I think had I had that 24 years ago, my business probably would have grown a whole lot faster.
Wow. So I guess helping businesses is your superpower, right?
It is my superpower. Helping people just be more successful in their lives and businesses is because you're really the same person. You're still you. So if you're a successful you can be super successful in your business as well.
Cool. So people, so you're saving businesses as is your version of saving cats.
Yeah, I guess that you could say that. That's I like that. We save animals too.
Joy Solutions. Tell us about how the name came about.
Sure. Well, because my name is Joy, and when I help people, I feel like I'm giving them something in a positive light, in a joyful way. So I named my company Joyful Solutions because that's what I do. I provide people with solutions that they are like, yes, I can take that and run with it. So it's a happy solution.
What makes you happy?
Helping people. I love helping people.
No way, really? And helping people probably gives I did that. That was great.
Yeah. Well, when you can see, like I said, the light bulb moment earlier, when you can see the look on somebody's face when they're like, I hadn't thought about that for my business. And then they get excited about their business again and can't wait to dive in and make some changes. And it's kind of like revigorating for them to just be like, woohoo, I can keep going. I'm on the right path. I just needed somebody to point out a couple changes that I needed to make, maybe in my website or in my product. Maybe they needed another product idea. So giving those solutions to them for their business is just a fun thing to watch. And then when they call back and we're like, that was a great idea, and people are loving it, it just makes you happy.
While talking to people, you see the light bulb moment. How does that feel for you? Is it like oh yeah, that's amazing?
Yeah, it is amazing. And it's like, yes, I got the solution that they needed and they get it. Because you can tell when somebody's not getting it, in conversation by their energy, their conversation, sometimes their body language, but you can feel that energy when it shifts in their voice. You can tell when it's that aha moment has hit.
And while listening, you're probably feeling the energy and the presence of the person while the conversation is happening to get that light bulb moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And if they're not getting it, then you just keep digging deeper into their situation to see what I might be missing or what they haven't shared yet, because maybe they haven't even realized what they need a light bulb moment for.
So you've got the business pickaxe, shovel, fork, and you're ready to take on the world. And it's like, I'll take your whole life of success.
Yep, exactly.
What is your secret hot sauce?
My secret hot sauce would be that I can easily see things in your business that you can't. It doesn't matter how old your business is. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get into business. I probably have a solution that's going to help you.
So I guess when you're at the party gates, you're going to tell God, hey, God, I got a business for you. Tell me how you're going to do it. I got it for you,
I don't have to tell him. He knows everything. He gave me my superpower. Oh, you cut out on me, Aron.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I wonder what the review would be like when you get there, of like, God, I did this business is great, that business is great, but what do you think I should have done better,
Yeah, we always, yeah. Even I wonder that sometimes. How can I do it better? And that would be pleasing to him, because all things with God are possible.
If someone met you on the street, what advice would you give them?
Whatever you're passionate about, go do it. Don't doubt yourself, or don't doubt that you can't do something. If something is really lighting you up, go do it.
The Nike.
Yeah, this just do it. Yeah. Because really, if you think about it, like, what do you really have to lose if you go and try something and it doesn't work? So go do something else. Go try something else. The most successful people have, as they call it, failed multiple times. And failing is not a negative thing. It's just saying that's not how it's supposed to be done. Try again. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had a light bulb, because if Edison gave up after, 900 times, he would never got to 999 times before he actually was successful.
Good point. Yeah. When you experience failure in your life, how did you bounce back?
I tell myself that same thing. I have to remind myself is you didn't fail. You just weren't doing it the way you weren't doing something right. Sometimes I know what it is, sometimes I don't, and I just have to keep trying. And sometimes I'm actually been working through some of that myself right now with my company, is making sure my messaging is going to get to the right people and have them say, yes, I need her. Because I, like other business owners, I overthink my own stuff. So I've hired my own coaches to help me navigate those kind of things, because it's easier to do it with somebody else than to try to do it on your own, because you'll get in your own brain and make yourself a little bit crazy sometimes.
For sure and definite. If you had to sit down with your younger self and explain everything, what would you do differently or tell not to do or to do?
I would tell myself to go for whatever my dreams were, and to not let anybody discourage me or tell me, oh, that's silly, or you can't do that, because they don't know. Who are they to say? They don't know.
If you don't know, you don't know,
Right. And you don't know what you don't know till somebody says, hey, did you know?
It's like a riddle,
Yeah. Yeah. I would have I probably would have started my own businesses earlier had I had that confidence that I could work for myself.
Were you lacking confidence?
Oh, sure. I think most people lack confidence somewhere in their lives. We're humans.
For sure. And were you lacking confidence in life or in business or just in general?
Oh, I think in myself. I was young. I was, not super popular in school. I wasn't the smartest kid in school because I didn't test well. But what I realized as I'm aged was your scores in school don't define your intelligence. And as long as you have a passion about something and you have a drive and you're willing to work and do it, that's what you need.
Yeah, for definite and for sure. If there was something you wanted to achieve or a legacy you wanted to leave behind, what would it be?
I feel like I've left my legacy already and I haven't left the world, but this book for my son, and that I have 2 successful children who I've given them all the skills and tools that I knew to give them for them to be successful products of society.
Wow. Joy, where can we find you?
You can find me at www.yourjoyfulsolutions.com. I'm on Facebook under Joy Graves Harris. And as you put up there, my free business assessment, you can just scan that code and take my free business assessment, and that'll get you in my little network as well. So find me, and I would love to have a conversation with you.
Sounds like going to the doctor for business.
Yeah, pretty much. Where does it hurt? What's keeping you up at night?
Yeah, what medication do I have to take for this?
Exactly.
Joy, why Joy is an amazing name, but joy for joy,
Oh, I didn't hear you. Your mic's cutting out, Aron.
Darn it. The internet gremlins have decided to come, and they're overtaking this, but we'll beat them. Joy, I want to say thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a blast, and you are an amazing soul who's creating joy around the world.
Thanks for having me. I enjoy that I got to be meeting you through networking, watching you dance, and do all the amazing stuff you're doing. So thank you for doing what you do.
you know, we all want to be an entrepreneur. We all want to be in business, earn our own money, but we need people that can create joy in our life. And check out Joy Harris, because she's creating joy in business and in life. And stay tuned for another incredible episode of The Soul Lens and what makes us overcome our obstacles to achieve greatness.
Thank you for listening to the Aron O'Dowd Show, where the world's best stories are told. If you like, please post a review or subscribe to the show. To find out more, contact us at aronodowd.com. That's ARONODOWD.com. We're always ready to share another magnificent tale from the world's best storytellers. So stay tuned and rock on.